Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had an amazing week and I hope you're looking forward to a fantastic weekend, everyone. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. Welcome students. Today we are focusing on IELTS reading section band 9, talking about the wrong and right ways to get those super high band scores, or that perfect score. Students, as usual, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Please visit us there. And for general IELTS, please visit us at gieltshelp.com. Let me just check something here because I have a feeling that we have this set to members chat only, but everybody should be able to chat in this class. So let me see if I can change that somewhere. I don't see any non-members yet, which is a bit suspicious. Okay, so let me see if I can change that somewhere. Visibility is public, so that's good. Audience. Let's see. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, I think I fixed that. All right. No, Baljeet, I didn't go for a run yet. All right, now we should be able to see other people jumping in on this class as well. There we go. Now we see some people who are not members of our channel. Okay, sorry about that. So these second classes are always for everyone to chat. All right, students. So again, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. That's where you want to go for lots of reading materials as well as materials for all sections of the exam. Our academic IELTS website looks like this with the blue background. Just click that big red button right up there to join the premium package, get access to all of our practice exams and videos, strategies, interactive course, apps for your phone, and lots more. General IELTS, green background, click that big red button there. And students, right now we have a new promotion. At the beginning of the year, we really want to help you out. We want you to achieve those New Year's resolutions that we were talking about last class. So we have the code PASS IELTS, which is right there for a 20% discount. And again, get our apps, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. Students, we released a really awesome video for the speaking section where there's a lady from Kazakhstan, Ryana, and she gives a very good performance on her speaking interview. And I do like a first-person practice with you, the viewer, as well. It's a super awesome video. I highly recommend checking that out. That's a really good video to watch. So check that out. If you have any questions, send me an email, Adrian at aehelp.com. That's my email. We'll get back to you quickly when we get your message. Kyber says, yeah, I've watched it, sir. Okay, great, Kyber. I hope you practiced that speaking part too. And then we have classes tomorrow as well. So we'll be finishing that task 2 essay that we started last class, and we'll do speaking part 1 with students from around the world. Okay, everyone, let's get into some reading today. So here is our reading passage. Our reading passage for the day is Tristan da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity. Okay, So the first tip here when you're reading, okay, and it's the right strategy, is to read the title. The wrong strategy is to skip the title. Sometimes students get that information like, oh, you don't need to read the title, just start reading, just start looking at the questions. Looking at the questions, how do you even know what the questions are about if you don't read the title? So you have to read the title, okay? So right strategy 1, read the title and visualize, okay? Picture the information, see it, okay? It's an island, a small island. Picture this small island. Okay, wrong strategy. Skip the title and just start reading. It's a bad idea. Okay, sometimes people do that, right? Okay. The title, Tristan da Cunha, An Island of Remote Curiosity. When you see this, when you see this, I was going to say when you read this, but when you read and see this, what do you see, students? So when you read a title like this, what do you see in your mind's eye? Your mind's eye is basically the eye that's inside of your brain. So when you read Tristan da Cunha, An Island of Remote Curiosity, what do you see? What comes to your mind? Okay. You know what I see? I'll tell you what I see. Anyway, I see a really tiny island with a big volcano, like Kong Island, where there are not many people and it's lost in the world. Okay, so Mal says an exotic island. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So I hope you're kind of seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. All right. Sadaf says, maybe I see some hidden treasure. Faisal says, a mystery island. And there's a little island emoji. That's great. With a palm tree. Yeah, so maybe you see those palm trees, Faisal. Very good. Okay, so you see that small island. I see, you know, if you've seen the movie Kong or King Kong, then you know the island that I'm talking about with the big volcano. That's kind of what I see. Okay. All right. So once we've done that, we can now take a look at the questions. Okay, so let's have a look at the questions, see if they can give us a bit more help. So you want to read questions that have information in the passage. So again, if I want to have the right strategy as opposed to the wrong strategy, okay, so the right strategy is read questions that have information which is all in the passage. The wrong strategy is read all questions. Read every question, even if it has false or non-existent, or I don't know if I want to say non-existent, but read every question if it has false or irrelevant information. Irrelevant means like it's not in the passage. You're not going to find it in the passage, okay? You shouldn't do that. Okay, so for example, don't read all the multiple choice answers. Don't read true, false, not given questions. Okay, don't read every choice of matching endings if it's not in the paragraph. Okay, all right. And so here we have the questions, which paragraph contains the following information. This is all in the passage. So the different types of money used on the island. So here I paraphrase. That's a good strategy. Various kinds of currency used on the island. Okay, paraphrasing in my mind during the real IELTS, and paraphrasing on paper when I'm practicing for IELTS. I'm sorry, exam results of Tristan students. So test scores of pupils on Tristan. Okay. Discussion of the original inhabitants of the island. Okay. Talking about the ancestors of the island. All right, that would be a nice paraphrase there. The island as an armed forces outpost. The island as a military base. Geography island, the land and map of the island. Okay, so I've paraphrased those nice and fast. That will help me to understand the passage as best as I can. Okay, don't get stuck in the paraphrasing. All right. Okay, and then here we have match the following places with facts about them from the passage. Okay, so again, this is all in the passage. We have St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha, United Kingdom, Portugal. All right, so some more ideas. So this is an island that's somehow connected to all of these different cultures or geographies. Took political control of the island in the 19th century. Students, this is reading, so make sure that you're reading and read with me. Okay, so read with me. Okay, make sure to read with me, right? Read with me. All right. Okay, so read with me. Read with me. All right, here we go. So back to these questions. So took political control of the island in the 19th century. Uses its own currency. Home to Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. Origin of the name Tristan da Cunha. Islanders had to be evacuated here after a natural disaster. Discovered the island. Okay, and then here we have write each sentence with the correct ending. So matching endings, there's 2, and we've got 5 choices. So we've got lots of wrong answers there. So we're going to leave that and just read this. Because of the number of people that moved permanently to the island is so small, something. Due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians is something. Okay, good. So I've read it, I've done paraphrasing, now I'm ready to read the passage, and again, while you're reading, visualize. You are on this island, so it's not just a boring IELTS passage, but you're there, you're on the island, okay? All right, instead of hearing my voice, which is still a bit rickety after that bad flu I had in December, let's hear a British speaker read this passage, and let's read with the speaker. So don't just read with me, but read with the speaker. You can see, students, that we have the audio CD for all of our reading, which is really cool, on our websites in our Premium IELTS course. So when we go to the website, this will be CD3 track 5. Okay, so here I've joined my premium package. I used the code PASSIELTS to get my 20% discount. Now I click on my student account, which is just above my head there. And in my student account, I have a tour of all the goodies I get when I join up. And then I hop over to my audio CDs, so you can listen anywhere, anytime. CD3, track 5. Here we go, everyone. CD3, track 5.
Tristan da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity. Tristan da Cunha is an island in the South Pacific Ocean, formed by volcanic activity and part of the British Overseas Territory, called St. Helena, Ascension and Tristan da Cunha. Tristan da Cunha is generally considered to be the most remote inhabited place on Earth. Because of its extreme isolation and small population, Tristan da Cunha is a fascinating experiment in sociology and genetics. The island was first discovered in 1506 by a Portuguese explorer named Tristão da Cunha, who named the island after himself. The name of the island was later anglicised by the inhabitants into Tristan da Cunha. In 1816, the United Kingdom annexed the island, taking control of it. They used it as a marine military base for a number of decades in the 19th century, before it fell into disuse after the construction of the Suez Canal. The Second World War, however, brought renewed purpose to the island. It was used as a top-secret British naval station, codenamed HMS Atlantic Isle. The purpose of the station was to monitor the waters for German U-boats. According to a recent census, the island has a population of just 263 people, who mainly reside in the settlement known as Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. It is thought that the residents of the island descend from just 15 ancestors, of which 8 were male and 7 were female. Because the reproduction pool is so small, the residents of the island suffer from a number of medical disorders. There is rampant asthma on the island, which is thought to be a result of the known fact that 3 of the original founders of the island suffered from asthma. Based on the endemic asthma afflicting inhabitants of the island today, it is thought that there is a genetic underpinning for the condition. Further evidence comes from islanders commonly suffering from glaucoma, a degenerative eye condition which, left untreated, can result in blindness. There are just 8 surnames among the 263 residents of Tristan da Cunha, corresponding roughly to the 8 original male ancestors. Since there is almost no emigration to the island, the surnames are kept intact for many generations. Education on the island is very limited. Children only attend school until the age of 15, with the option of taking the British Standardised Test for secondary school graduates once they have completed schooling. As a consequence of the low quality of education, standardised test scores are generally very poor. Another indication of the island's remoteness and relative lack of contact with the outside world is that the English spoken amongst its natives is very different from that spoken of the rest of the world. Arguably, one of the most interesting facts about Tristan da Cunha was that until the aftermath of the Second World War, the only currency in place was the potato. For example, the newspaper, the Tristan Times, could be purchased for 4 big potatoes. Today, Tristan da Cunha uses the British pound as its currency, which is odd because neighbouring St. Helena, 2,173 kilometres away, of which Tristan da Cunha shares its status as a British Overseas Territory, uses the St. Helena pound and not the British pound. Since Tristan da Cunha was formed by volcanic activity and the volcano which formed it is still active, the inhabitants of the island live in constant danger of volcanic eruption. The last such eruption occurred as recently as 1961, when all of the islanders had to be evacuated to England. While some communities around the world participate in fire, earthquake or tornado drills, the residents of Tristan da Cunha participate in evacuation drills, where they practice the protocol for evacuation of the island in case of volcanic eruption. The Tristan economy is built mainly upon farming. All land is owned by the community. That is to say, there is no individual land ownership. Another significant part of the economy is the exportation of crayfish and lobster, mainly to Japan and the United States. A fire that occurred in 2008 greatly affected both the domestic and export economies. Tristanians are fiercely proud and independent people. Even when given the choice to stay in England after exile due to the volcanic eruption, almost every resident returned to the island.
Why study philosophy? There are two schools of thought when it comes to education. One side believes that education should give students tools for success in life, while the other side believes that education itself is an important goal.
This next audio for the next reading
No area of
passage.
study brings this debate to a head more than the study.
Okay, cool. There we go. So now, looking at the exam book here. There we go. Let's go over this, and let's go over what I did there. You probably saw that very quickly I was trying to do a bit of typing after each paragraph. What was I doing there, everyone? So what do you think I was typing? So I was reading, okay, and of course, because you're not following a reader in the official IELTS, this is just for practice purposes. You have more time to do this, so you don't have to be as quick as what I just did here. But what was I doing here? Nuthan says you were typing the keywords of the paragraph. Almost, Nuthan. Munan says you were summarizing. Yeah, they weren't actually keywords, guys. It wasn't really the keywords that I was paying attention to, but the key points. That's a very important difference, okay? So I was paying attention to the key points of each paragraph, okay? So again, that's another strategy that's very, very useful, okay? So let's do another one of these right strategies, wrong strategies. Okay. All right. So, right strategy. Read the whole passage and summarize the key points, not the key words, okay? Because they might not be the same, in a few words after each paragraph. Wrong strategy. Skim read and or read the first sentence of each paragraph only. Okay, now students, those strategies like skim reading and reading the first sentence, they might be good for like a band 5.5 or a 5, but if you want to get a 6.5, a 7, 7, 8, or 9 especially, then you definitely have to read the whole passage, okay? So what I did here is I just kind of took the keywords. Tristan da Cunha is an island in the south. It's actually the South Atlantic Ocean. That's a mistake in the passage. Formed by volcanic activity and part of the British overseas territory called St. Helena, Ascension, and Tristan da Cunha. Tristan da Cunha is generally considered to be the most remote inhabited place on Earth because of its extreme isolation and its small population. Tristan da Cunha is fascinating experiment in sociology and genetics. So notice how I didn't write fascinating, I wrote interesting. So I said remote, interesting for genetics and sociology. Okay, so I missed a little bit there with sociology, but those are the key points of that body paragraph, and you'll see in a second why that's so important. Body paragraph 2, the key points are that Tristan da Cunha, is it like that maybe? Yeah, Cunha. is the history. So it tells of this captain. I'm going to take this off so I'm not screaming as much. The Portuguese captain who discovered it, and then it's being used as a military base by the British later on. In the next paragraph, I figured that it was about the original inhabitants, their genetics and medical conditions like glaucoma and so on. Paragraph D, this short one, was about names and ancestry. Paragraph E was the English dialect, the poor education scores. F was about the currency, the potato, volcanoes, and evacuation. Okay. And then the last one was the economy, exporting crayfish and so on. And proud people, they go back to the island even after the island is erupted. Okay, so that's what you do. Okay. All right, let's answer these questions together. So having identified these, let's look at these. So here we go. The different types. This is question 1. You have to match the paragraph. So reading passage 1 has 7 paragraphs, A to G. Which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter in boxes 1 to 5 on your answer sheet. So the different types of money used on the island, various types of currency on the island. That was my paraphrase. This is the original question. Different types of money. Okay. Which paragraph was this? Somebody says it was the potato. That's right, it was the potato. I hope many people visualize trading the potato. Simran says, I think that was F. I'm not 100% sure. Cass says F too, but I know it was kind of nearing the end there. So it was around the EFG kind of location. And I do know that I summarized it. So economy, currency, right? There it is. So currency in place was the potato. Okay. So notice that they don't actually say the money, they say currency. So it's the paraphrasing that I thought of. And yeah, the answer here is F. So very good for those students who realized that was F, because you said that, you summarized currency used on the island, right? F. Does everybody now see how this paraphrasing the question and summarizing the paragraph really makes your answering quick, effective, and you get a lot of confidence? Does everybody see that? So everybody kind of like, oh, I get it. So I think about other ways that they might ask that question or state that answer in the passage. And then I summarize each paragraph after I read it as best as I can. And I can really quickly match up the information and figure out what's going on where. Right? Cass says, oh, it's much easier. I got it now. Nuance says, yes, sir, I get it now. Okay. All right. Tutul says, yeah, we got it. Okay. Tatiana says, yes. All right, Tatiana. Good, good. All right. Tian says it's so much more effective. Yeah. So exam results of the Tristanian students, test scores. Test scores, again, I think it was E, right? Education. So I'm going to say E because I'm pretty sure it was E, right? But if I want to, I can go back and check my summary here. Okay, English dialect and poor education scores. Yeah, there it is. So I'm good. So I don't need to read the whole paragraph because I have it summarized. Discussion of the original inhabitants of the island. So talking about the original people on the island. These were the surnames. So I remember like talking about the names and the original people, and there were kind of two places because I remember they talked about the genetics, but then they also talked about the names and ancestry. Okay, so there are just 8 surnames among Tristan da Cunha, corresponding roughly to 8 original male ancestors. So I think it's D. Okay. Yeah, because here it talks about the people, the inhabitants, but the ancestry is the original people, right? Because the word ancestry means original people. right? Makes sense. So I would say D is the best choice there, and it's going to be correct. All right, good. The island as an armed forces outpost. The island as a military base. B, the history, right? It was that Portuguese captain and then the British who were looking for the U-boats, right? So I would confidently say B. Look at all you get it right. Basically, all of you are getting this right. Okay, so just because we summarized, we did those 3 4-word summaries of each paragraph, and all of you are like, okay, yeah, that was super clear. B, military base. E, education. D, the original inhabitants. C, the genetics. It was all there. Geography of the island, the land and the map of the island, so it's location. A. It's the introduction, right? They said it's located in the South Pacific, correction, South Atlantic. But yeah, that's right. Okay, so A, the location. Very good. Look at all of you go. So when you do this on the IELTS, you're going to see it's much easier. I did this on my official IELTS exam, and I didn't actually find the reading that hard. I got a band 9, so it means I got at least 39, but maybe even 40 out of 40 questions. Okay, so now we have matching the following places with facts about them. You often have this kind of question on the IELTS exam, and in the computer-based, you have to kind of just drag and drop. Okay. So that guy from Syria says, are we allowed to write under the passage in the real test? In the paper-based, yes. Okay. In the computer-based, you have a piece of note paper, so you can just write it there. Okay, list it. Okay, so if I were doing the computer-based exam, which I did, I just used my note paper and I just kind of wrote like line after line. I know that it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Does that make sense? So that was a good question from that guy from Syria, by that guy from Syria. Does that make sense? So just write it on your note paper, like a list. Okay. Okay. Abdul Wahid says, I'm not paying attention at all, Mr. Boring. But you're paying enough attention to give that comment. That's ironic. All right, thanks for bringing a smile to my face. Now we have to look at these St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha, United Kingdom, Portugal. Okay. Took political control of the island in the 19th century. So that's during the 1800s. You shouldn't have to read for that. You can probably figure this out. Was it A, B, C, or D? A is a neighboring island that's far away with few people. I don't think they're taking control of much. Tristan da Cunha is the island we're talking about, so that's not possible. I'm using logic here, right? United Kingdom is very possible because we're talking military and so on. And then Portugal, I think they discovered it earlier on. So I can check Portugal and United Kingdom in paragraph B because I know that it is the history of the island. So I go back to paragraph B and I can see the island was first discovered in 1506. 1506 is the 16th century. In 1816, the United Kingdom annexed the island, taking control of it. UK. Chandra, not after World War II, well before World War II, 123 years before World War II, the British took control of it. So, yeah. So it has to be C, right? Okay, the UK. Just put the letter C and you're good to go. All right. Uses its own currency. Okay. Again, I remember this one. We could check if we wanted to in the paragraph. But I remember that Tristan da Cunha used its own currency, which was the potato, which is past tense. This is present tense. Pay attention to that. Okay. But I remember that St. Helena uses its own currency, right? The St. Helena dollar, all right? Excuse me. So St. Helena dollar. So it's A. Very good for those of you who got it. And they said, yeah, it's kind of interesting because Tristan da Cunha uses the British pound, but St. Helena uses their own St. Helena dollar, so they got their own currency, which is kind of interesting. Okay, home to Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. That you should not have to search for. They said that's the one and only settlement of Tristan da Cunha. You should have visualized that very clearly. So that was B. Okay. Origin of the name Tristan da Cunha. Again, a little bit of logic, everyone. So does that sound like English to you? It should not. So the name origin comes from Portugal, that captain, right? So that's D. Okay. This one's D, number 9. And it looks like a lot of you are getting it. So Fatma, Bakrat, Dorma for number 8. It's very good. Kas for number 9, Bakrat. Very good. Okay, so it's definitely D. All right. Islanders had to be evacuated here after a natural disaster. Okay, so where did they go to? Which paragraph is this coming from? Which paragraph is that? Okay, so Baljit says that's the UK, that was England. Which paragraph is that coming from? And you're right, it is C. So many of you are getting the right answer. It's definitely C. Which paragraph? Does everybody remember where that's coming from? Cass, very good. Cass says that was paragraph G. It was like the summary where there was a volcanic eruption, but Tristanians are proud people and most of them went back, right? So, yeah. So, economy, proud people, volcano eruption. There you have it. Give us some confidence. Okay, discovered the island. Which country discovered the island? Should remember that one, shouldn't have to search. Very good. I love how so many of you are realizing now how valuable it is, that strategy, to summarize in a few words the key points, right? So discovered the island, absolutely Portugal. Fatma says Portugal. Portugal, make sure you don't write the word, but you actually write the letter, right, in your answer sheet. Computer-based, you won't make that mistake because it's usually drag and drop, this type of question. So that was D, absolutely. Okay, now, this last one here, we have the complete each sentence with the correct ending, A to E below. Pay really close attention to the grammar. Okay, so again, let's do a little bit of right strategy, wrong strategy. Okay, right strategy, pay attention to the grammar of the phrase, because it's a partial phrase or partial sentence, it's a phrase, and finish on your own before looking for the correct ending. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean here. Wrong strategy, read the phrase and start searching for the correct ending before thinking. Okay, so that's the wrong strategy. That's what a lot of students do, is they read it, they go, because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, last names remain the same for generations, asthma is very rare, very different from the other variations, continually developing, often confuses to outsiders. And then they're like, okay, let me read that again. Because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small. Okay, so let's not do that. Okay, that's not effective. That's the wrong strategy, all right? The right strategy is thinking first. So because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, okay, so this sentence is a complex sentence. It's cause and effect, right? Because, right? So it's a cause and effect sentence. It has to be because of this. This is the situation, or this is what happens. So because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, people's names don't change very much. There are only like 8 last names or something. I remember that from the passage, okay? All right, now I can look at this and I can figure out which one's the right match. Last names remain the same for generations. That looks really good, okay? Asthma is rare, very rare is wrong. Very different, doesn't make sense. These ones don't make sense. So A is the right answer, okay? So I put A in there, and that's the right answer. Does everybody, okay, so I'm happy that everybody's like, oh yeah, we got the right answer. But does everybody get the right strategy instead of the wrong strategy? Okay, multiple choice. This is a kind of multiple choice question. You should always think of the answer before you start searching. If you think that you're going to get a great score just by searching for the answers, think again. It's almost impossible. Cass says yes. Okay. All right. So correct test strategy. Ladies, gents, that's the key. Okay. So due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians is very unique. Okay, it's probably very different from other English. It's very unique. Quite different from other types of English. That would be the way I would finish that sentence. Okay, that's my finish. All right? So due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians is very... Actually, sorry, it's from the is very different from other variations of English. C. Yeah, absolutely, everyone. Yeah, once you have it, once you know it. Now, here's an interesting question. What if, okay, so let me ask you this, right? Like, what if my answer is totally different from the choices? What do I do? Okay. So let's say, like, due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians, and I say is super cool. And hard to understand. Like, let's say that that's my answer. It's super cool and it's hard to understand. And then I'm like, okay, last names remain the same. Asthma, very different, continually developing. And I'm like, oh, none of these are matching. What the heck do I do? Okay. Buckrat says, look for a second choice. Carolina says, maybe just cry a little bit. Yeah, there's no crying in IELTS. It's like, there's no crying in baseball, right? There's no crying on IELTS. No, I don't think the examiner or the invigilator is going to be like, are you okay? Or why are you crying? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll be nice. I don't know. Baljit says, skip the question. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's the last question. So in this case, I wouldn't skip it. If it isn't, then maybe. But what I would do is check the paragraph about English. Okay, so if you've got a bit of time and it's paragraph 1, it shouldn't be too hard. Go back, right? You have English dialect right here. We wrote it, remember? So then I check it. Education, okay, that's not it because it starts with education. Another indication of the island's remoteness and relative lack of contact with the outside world is that the English spoken amongst its natives is very different. So it doesn't say super cool. It says very different from that spoken in the rest of the world. Maybe it's hard to understand, but we don't know that. It could be easy to understand. It could be just really different. Okay. So then now we know that it's not just super cool, but it's probably very unique. And once we have that, we can identify that the correct answer is C. Very different. Okay. All right. So there's kind of a global look at correct and incorrect strategies. Just to summarize that, the right strategy, read the title, visualize it. The wrong strategy, don't read the title, just start skim reading the text. Okay, that's the wrong strategy. Okay, right strategy, read the whole passage and in a few words summarize the key points after each paragraph. Wrong strategy for band 7, 8, 9, skim read the first sentence of each paragraph only, think that you're going to do a great job. No. Then we have the right strategy. Read questions that have information which is all in the passage. Wrong strategy. Read every question even if it has false and irrelevant information like all the multiple choice and everything. Ugh, waste of time. Don't do that. Okay. All right, right strategy. Pay attention to the grammar of questions and finish questions on your own. Think about the answers on your own. Don't think that they're going to just pop out at you like magic Jack in the Box. Wrong strategy. Read the questions, start searching for the correct answers even before you're thinking about it. You're thinking the test is going to give it to you like some helpful little friend emoji, but no, it's not. Okay, so that's the wrong strategy. Those are the right and wrong strategies, students, especially if you're going for those band 9 scores. I hope that makes sense for everyone. Yeah, Buckroad, I did like a little bit of a rapid style lesson for this one that I thought would be a bit of a cool take for everybody. Practice makes perfect, students, so make sure to practice, okay? And you can, of course, practice with tons of other materials on our website at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Don't forget this code that we're sharing with everybody today, which is PASS IELTS. You can get a 20% discount, and all you need to do is you just go to our website, aehelp.com, and when you're on the website, you can click these big red buttons that are right there. So when you click that, then you click this use coupon code that's right above my head there. You enter the code PASS IELTS and PASS IELTS, continue, and you get a 20% discount, and we'll show you that at the top in the green bar. And you're off to the races, everyone. So that's how you do it. Keep up the good studies, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with some more writing and speaking. Okay? So see you in tomorrow's class. Keep up the good work. Carolina, thank you so much for moderating. Thank you to all of our viewers. We've got tons of students in the class, which is really awesome. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out for today. Enjoy the start to your weekend. Get some fresh air. Get some good food in you. Stay positive. Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow at the same time.